Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 2, week 39, ending January 10th, 2020. This isn't an endorsement to purchase any stocks that I bought, nor an endorsement to purchase stocks in general. I'm on a mission to become a great growth stock investor. Watch me on my journey, learn from my mistakes, and celebrate my successes. The S&P 500 hit an all-time high again this week. It closed up 31 points from last week at 32.65. It's looking good. It's above its 8-day simple moving average and its 13-day simple moving average. The Russell 2000 index is not looking so good. It needs to break out of that red box that I made. Last week's close was at 1660 and this week's close was at 1657. So it's basically going sideways. I'd like to see it get above 1680 and not fall below 1640. The volatility index tightened up at the end of the week. It closed at 1284. Last week it closed at 1402, so it came down quite a bit and it had those nice little short bars the last 2 days of the week. Last week's plan was to sell anything that triggered a floor. My CZZ triggered a floor, which I wasn't happy about, but I sold it for quite a bit of profit, even though it was down since the previous week. I also bought 2 new buys that sold this week. One was Ruby and the other Telray. I'm trying to do buys when stocks have high volume and they have a nice relative strength and composite rating. So here's a list of my buys and I'll go through them when I review my charts. CZZ. I sold all my shares on January 8th for $21.35. This stock dropped down one day to its 28-day exponential moving average and popped right back up. The last 2 days have been up with nice volume. I really want to buy this stock back. I had 3 buys in this stock. My B1 I had held for 13 weeks and it was up 42.7%. My B2 I held for 12.5 weeks and it was up 34%. And my B3 I held just under 12 weeks and it was up 30%. So awesome gain in all 3 of my buys here. I bought the stock with symbol TLRA on January 6th and sold it on the 8th for a gain of almost 9%. It had a lower composite rating, 59, but it had a nice relative strength at 98, and it did have some nice volume. This stock was getting acquired by a company called RUBI, and they were trading it for stock. So as that Ruby stock went up, the TLRA stock went up as well. So I sold the previous stock for a profit and then turned around and bought the Rubicon project, which was purchasing that other company. And I sold that in 2 days for a loss of 8%. So basically, one I made the profit and the other one I made the loss, and they basically are a wash. Here's my current holding bar chart for all of the stocks in my portfolio. Each bar represents 1 week or a portion of the week. You can see over on the left-hand side, AMD in the red, it did fall for the week. CDW in the blue was just about even. The light blue, which is DIOD, that one had a nice little gain. GPN had a gain, and Lulu had a gain. I then look at each individual stock chart and rank that in the terms of the weakest to the strongest. Colfax Corporation, this is a new purchase for me. I bought it down, you can see the volume at number 1, where it had high volume that day. Then the stock basically dropped on Friday. I've held it for 4 days and I'm down 2%. It did have nice composite rating and relative strength. CDW. I'm wondering if I should sell this stock. I've held it for 16 weeks and I'm up 16%. And I have a B2 that I've held for just about 10 weeks and I'm up about 7%. But the stock really just seems to be going sideways. Lululemon, this stock is moving along, but I haven't really seen volume for a B2. I've been wanting to make a B2, but for whatever reason, I have a mental block on this stock and it sort of scares me for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I have held it for 13 weeks and I'm up 15%. So I like the gain that it has so far. AMD, I did raise my floor this week to the 28-day exponential moving average. It was looking a little weak to me. It had quite a few down days that closed towards the bottom of the range, including Friday, which closed right at the 8-day simple moving average. I have 3 buys in this. The first one I've held for 10 weeks and it's up 35%. Buy 2, I've held just under 10 weeks and it's up 30%. And buy 3, I've held just about 7 weeks and it's up 22%. So I have great gains in this stock, and we will see if it continues or if I need to sell it. Cozumar, stock symbol CMRE. This is a new stock for me as well. I purchased it on Monday down at number 1 in the volume section. You can see it had a nice volume after 2 big volume days. So I might have bought it a little late, but I bought it regardless. So I've held it the 1 week and it's just up 0.4%. And it did meet my criteria of having an up volume day plus a composite rating and a nice relative strength of composite rating 99 and relative strength of 98. Stock symbol ZTS. This is another one where I moved my floor up to the 28-day, and I am looking for a point to make a B2. I've held it for 2.5 weeks and it's up just about 2%. DIOD. This stock is making a new 52-week high this week. I have 2 buys in it. One I've held just about 2 weeks and it's up 3%, and the other one I've held just 2 days and it's down 0.1%. GPN. This stock is finally moving. It had been going sideways for so long I was getting ready to sell it. I would like to buy some more if there was some volume, but the last 4 days it closed in the low range of the day, so I'm not sure if it's making a move or not, but it does have a nice gain this week. I've held this stock for just about 8 weeks and I'm up 5%. Fair Isaac Inc. This is a new purchase for me this week. I've held it for 2 days and it's up 1.3%. At number 1 and 2, that's where I purchased it for my husband's account. So I do have a other holding in this, but I bought the number 3 for my experiment on above average volume. And it does have a new 52-week high and high composite rating of 94 and relative strength of 95. IPHI. Again, this had a new 52-week high with volume, and I left my floor at 8%. I've held this for 3 days and it's up 0.6%. I didn't beat the S&P this week. My portfolio actually went down about $2,000. So in 1 year and 39 weeks, my portfolio, my $100,000 portfolio, is now $147,627 versus the S&P that's $122,929. I lost $2,734 in stocks that I held last week and sold this week, and CZZ accounts for all of that loss. My new purchases, I had an $87 gain, and then my existing holdings, I had a $516 gain. So not a very good week for me. The S&P was up almost 1%, and I have 6 stocks that did not beat the S&P this week. Here's my dollar value gain for my $100,000 B1 purchase only. So I have 1 stock that I have a loss in, CFX, which I have a $209 loss in, and my AMD down at the bottom, I have a $3,546 gain in my B1 purchase. The weekly change for the S&P 500 was up 0.94% versus my weekly change, which was down 1.42%. And my year-to-date is a negative 0.4% versus the S&P 500, which year-to-date is up 1%. Here's the industry breakdown showing my heaviest concentration in chips. I have 3 stocks there that I own: AMD with 3 buys, DIOD with 2 buys, and iFi, which is my new purchase. My second largest industry is the business services with CDW, where I have 2 buys in. Everything else, I just have 1 buy-in. My cash balance at the end of year 2, week 39, is $14,838. My sells are the same as last week, anything that triggers the floor. And then I want to practice taking profit, selling something into strength, where I decide to sell instead of letting it just trigger the floor. And my buys, I'm still focusing on buying stocks with above average volume with high relative strength and composite rating according to investors.com and the IBD and MarketSmith. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.